We're here for our first episode of Weed, Wine, and Wheat Thins. My name is Tony Adiemi. I'm your host. And today we have Amon Floyd Carroll come in to join us at the lovely table. What I say? Table?
Table.
Let's keep that in.
Yeah, keep it.
Table.
Run it.
In the middle of this grassy field.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. Amon today will go through her selections. First, of course, the weed. A joint rolled by the wonderful Neil Nathan. We have a red wine from Safeway that I accidentally put in the fridge. Did not know you're not supposed to chill red wine, but now I know.
Not grown whatsoever.
And some cheese and crackers also from Safeway, hoping for that sponsorship soon. Oh, and this beautiful ashtray from Aaron Tesfaye. I have to just shout it out. Like, look at this. That's sick. How this show works, by the way, in case you're like, what am I watching? It's just like a talk show where we're just going to talk about shit. And while we do that, we're going to smoke weed, drink wine, and eat cheese and crackers.
Dabble in some recreational fun.
Yeah, recreational.
Dabble.
Of course. Our first segment involves us picking a topic out of the bowl that is from the wonderful Sadie. Thank you, Sadie. I have a lot of friends just helping me do this. It's seriously amazing.
It takes a village, right?
And it takes a village. And the topics were from people on Instagram. I just put it on my story. I'm like, what do you guys want to hear about? Like, what do people not talk about?
For the fans.
And that's what we're going to talk about.
Keep them engaged. Ready?
So, do you want to do the honors?
All right,
I guess we should, like, light a J.
Okay. Do I, like, shake it? Is this, like, a shuffling thing? Okay. Oh, God. Okay. We're really starting strong here.
No way!
Topic is embarrassing things that can happen during sex.
This is what people don't talk about.
Wow, can I have the drugs?
Yeah. Embarrassing things that happen during sex. That's super interesting.
So is it story time?
It's probably story time.
Fuck. Okay. Wow, my parents are gonna disown me. Okay.
Oh God, my parents are the first. Mom and Dad, just fast forward
sorry.
5 or 6 minutes to the next
Yeah,
segment.
please
Because
go to the
honestly,
next
this
segment.
is like a lot.
Ooh. Okay. We're not gonna say names.
Yeah, no names.
No names. But there was this guy that when I was a sophomore, was super obsessed with.
And you're a junior now, for
I'm
reference.
a junior, yeah. So time ago.
You're older, wiser, everything.
Old, I was young, but I was ready. And so he didn't pan out for a bit. Finally secured the situation.
The situation being the guy.
Yeah, in my bedroom. And so, like things are getting like hot and bothered, or things are turning up. Admittedly, things are a bit sweaty. So friction, like not too great traction. Like I don't know, it was a bit slippery. So hypothetically, I may have been like, hey, like let's just like put it in doggy, right? Just like put it into that gear.
Of course.
And someone decided to like shift levels,
Yeah.
And so like the way that works is that obviously there's like this motion going on.
Yeah.
And then also like someone is coming up or coming down.
Okay.
And so basically, going for it, someone shifted, and instead of it going into the right hole, it went into the wrong hole.
Oh, that is a big one. Wrong holage.
Wrong hole.
That's probably, and like, okay, so like, what was your reaction? Because I've had a couple friends' reactions from that.
Okay, so honestly, like, I kind of just felt like my soul leave my body, like, momentarily.
Oh,
Like,
amazing.
just momentarily.
Amazing. That's always what you want during
But
sex, by the
I
way.
didn't scream. I did not
That's
scream.
actually huge.
But, in short, the next day going to class, it was like me versus my bike all day. All fucking day. So, we made it through.
I guess we'll just title this segment Accidental Anal.
Yeah.
Because I really do
Call it
think
what it is,
that is one of the worst things. Because, like, if you're ready for it and you, like, train and you do what you need to do, like, it can be an enjoyable experience.
It can be great.
If it happens by surprise.
Not
objectively
nearly as
not enjoyable.
pleasurable. Yeah, no. Definitely communicate. It's a lot to handle.
I'm coughing from weed, but then I choked on the wine.
And we
So now
did.
that I was like, I have to just choke on a cracker, right? Just to like put the whole title there.
Just like,
I do want
can you
some.
take it?
While we talked about embarrassing things, before we move on, actually, I feel like sex in general isn't talked about a lot,
Yeah.
and I feel like the more comfortable you are with the person,
Yeah.
the better. Because like it doesn't really matter if embarrassing things happen if you're with someone that you're comfortable with.
Exactly.
It's when you're with someone that like it's not funny with,
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
whatever thing happens is like actually just embarrassing.
Yeah.
And that probably says way more about your like uncomfortableness with the person than it does the actual thing. Because I think, you should probably take this.
I'm getting a phone call. Sorry.
People are going through it.
Yeah, it was rough.
People are going through it. Ooh. I don't know.
Okay, anyway, sex.
That's probably what I'll say about that topic, is that nothing is actually embarrassing if the person you're with is not someone you'd be embarrassed in front of.
I agree. As a young woman, I think it's really important that women feel comfortable with their own bodies before they put them in other people's space in an intimate way, you know, before you have that interaction, because I know often that, like, you know, I mean, if we really want to talk about it, like, just let's talk about, like, women's pleasure, right? Like,
one of the topics in there was masturbation.
Yeah.
So pretend we picked that one.
We're just gonna jump ahead. But no, it's real. It's like, I know so many girls who don't take the time to figure themselves out, whether that be like just, you know, figuring out what their boundaries are or like exploring their own intimacies. And I think like you kind of cheat yourself, you know? Like, you guys are great, but like y'all ain't gonna do it if we don't know how to do it. So like you just kind of have to figure it out beforehand, you know?
So is that the comfortableness in your bodies that you were referring to, like comfortable, like knowing yourself in that way?
Knowing yourself, whether that be like if you really want to get into masturbation, like that way, but I think also just understanding like how you feel in space with another person, you know? Like, I think it's really important to just feel really grounded in who you are before you give yourself to another person in that way.
That's super interesting, because when you first said that, and maybe this is a part of that, I kind of thought you were talking about like being comfortable like with yourself in the way that it's often talked about, like why can't I like self-love, but also
I think it's a big part of it.
I think it's self-love. And for me, like if I think about like my sexual journey,
It's spicy.
it is a journey though.
Okay,
anyway, if I think about my sexual journey, then it's like, oh, a lot of the first times I was having sex, it's because I didn't feel good about myself, and I was like, oh, let me try to do this thing to make me feel good about myself. And it's like, oh, someone else like wanting you in that like deep, intimate way.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's it. And then like every single time afterwards, I felt shittier.
Yeah.
Like it was like until you have like, I feel like sex for like just like the right reasons.
Yeah.
Like I think it can be a super non-enjoyable, and like maybe the experience itself can maybe be enjoyable, but even then it's way harder to be.
No, but like I think, okay, so like I'm gonna use hoe as a positive term here.
Hoe is a positive term.
Yeah. Reclaim the word.
We're reclaiming it.
Here we go.
Quotation. Issa Rae.
In terms of kind of reclaiming like your sexuality in that sense, and I think honestly like my only rules about hoeing, I only have a couple. I have my fun. But
this segment is called Iman's Rules for Hoeing. She only has a couple.
Only a couple. So, number one.
I want like effects that are like, come on. Maybe we can do that. I'll talk to Punya later.
There's only a couple, so. Okay, so I think number one would be when you have sex, you should be having sex first and foremost because you want to, right? Like,
consent is sexy and necessary.
Right. You should be having sex for your gratification and the mutual gratification, you know, of your partner.
Agreed. 100%.
Don't be selfish. That's no fun. Like,
I agree.
My other rule is, I don't know, I think having like sex to kiss and tell is a bit, like, if you do it and you tell, I think that's cool. But my thing is just like, don't be fucking someone just to run your mouth on them, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know people love tea, so maybe that one's not for this generation.
I do love tea. My first, like, edition of this, like, my first name choice for this talk show was, like, Spill the Tea with Tony, or, like, something, because I do love tea.
Yeah.
But
we love
not in this
weed
context.
More. Yeah. And
but then this was just so much better. That's just a lame name.
This
better. Is a good name. Anyway, I just want to make sure they get that.
Yeah.
This was the actual end of our conversation about embarrassing things that happen during sex.
Okay. So you're picking your topic?
No, now it's time to talk about you.
Oh, shit. Okay, I was just trying to play the game, but okay, here we go.
So the next part of this show basically highlights the guests that I bring on. Here at Stanford, I've just met, like, the coolest fucking people. Yeah. So I just feel like I've met a lot of experts, like, in their own way, where it's, like, not an expert, like, they've done their 10,000 hours or, like, PhD or, like, whatever. But, like, everyone just goes through so much in their life and, like, their personal expertise on this thing. So this show allows me to highlight that of like what people are just doing that are just so cool.
Yeah.
So Iman here, and I maybe will have you go through her resume. I asked her what she's an expert on before the show, and she said how to finesse. The good one was resting bitch face, but at the appropriate times.
Yeah,
she said man, so I'm glad we got to talk about man. But for me, when I think of Iman, I think of her as, I just think of all the stuff she does with fashion, because it's like super, I don't know a lot of people doing stuff in fashion, just like in general, like at our age, and like it sort of just seems like unattainable, so it's like really cool when someone like you, who's younger than me, by the way, is just doing, this is my little, oh my god, we're in a sorority. No, yeah, neither of us go to anything. No. But like, I just think about you in fashion. And I sort of want to talk about that with you.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love fashion. I love clothes. I mean, I think that's probably how it started. But I run the style and culture magazine here. It's called Mint Magazine. And so that's been my little passion project in fashion. And so, short story, I wanted to be a doctor when I came to Stanford.
Didn't like I feel like half of people in the world.
And you know what?
And then you get to college.
I swore I was not going to be that bitch who dropped.
No, like everyone swears that.
Yeah.
Okay, until you take the MCAT, I don't listen to any pre-med. That's pretty much the line I started to draw.
You haven't made it, bitch. You're not quite there.
I'm like, until I see you studying for that 6-hour fucking test and grinding away, I'm like, until then you're not pre-med.
I'm waiting for
in
the
my
letter.
eyes.
I'm waiting for the letter. Yeah.
Okay,
so,
keep going.
Wanted to be pre-med, literally like, maybe went to the orientation for pre-med. They were like, you have to take X, Y, and Z, yada, yada, yada. And I'm looking at these motherfuckers like, I am not doing this shit. I was like, wait, I actually don't like this as much as I thought, so I'm gonna do something else. I came here as a photographer. I have a crazy story.
Here at Stanford here?
Yeah, it's actually a crazy story. So I tell people I got into Stanford off Instagram. Which is a whole nother story.
Do explain.
Okay, the short version of this story was that I applied to a fuck ton of schools, all of which were in California. I really wanted to come back here. I was born here. I actually was born 20 minutes from Stanford. Fun fact. When I applied here, I actually ended up getting waitlisted. So I was like, well, fuck, that fucking sucks. And to back it up, really, basically what happened was when I applied to Stanford, you have to submit a portfolio. So here, I'm a procrastinator, if you get to know me. I wrote my entire application, all my Ivy, like, good school applications. So last night, hand that shit in. I'm feeling fresh. I'm feeling good. I'm like, all right, got it. Like, right under the deadline. I go to submit my portfolio for Stanford, and the link is broken. And I'm like, oh, like, it's probably no big deal. Like, maybe I missed it by a week or something. Like, I'll just email someone. Like, we'll sort it. I go look at the deadline. That shit was, like, 2 months ago.
Oh, Jesus.
So I'm like, fuck. I just handed in my application. Like, I wrote all this shit about art, and I have no art. So I was like, well, this is a hat trick. We'll see what happens. So, long story short, admissions come out. I end up getting waitlisted. I opted to be on their wait list, right? And Stanford, they give you 600 characters to tell them why you deserve to go to Stanford. Not words, characters. That's like a tweet and a half.
That was quick math.
Yeah, that's actually like not, but...
No, it's like
think
two.
It's like,
oh, no, it's wrong.
It's still 140 characters. I don't use Twitter.
It's
I don't know.
280 now? Okay, no, so you're right. Okay, so it's like two. It's like two. Less quick math, but still math.
I'm basically a savant. So yeah, long story short, I write this little blurb. Still don't link my portfolio because they told you weren't allowed to do that. So I'm like, fuck, who knows if I'll get in. Basically, the conclusion of the story is, it was like the day after prom. I like had my fake eyelashes on still. Like I just went to Chipotle, had like a burrito baby, laying in bed, totally like KO'd. I got a phone call from like a Palo Alto area code. I picked this shit up. And the guy is basically, hey, like, I'm Daniel Chung. I'm your admissions officer.
Whoa.
And I'm kind of let you know that, like, we found your portfolio. We Googled you. We found your Instagram. Thank God my show was private. And then in your bio, we found your portfolio link. So long story short, he's like, oh, we love your art. Welcome to Stanford, yada, yada, yada.
Whoa.
Manifest destiny, all that good shit.
That's cool.
So, yeah. So, Instagram.
Okay, do you know
and
how
I did
many,
fashion.
Like, do you know how many people would, like, buy the book I got into Stanford off of Instagram? Or, like...
Wait, another funny story?
That's what people want. That's what people want.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Also, that story got me to a last round interview at Instagram. So
how?
Work it. You gotta work what you got.
Okay. So when I said Aman was an expert of how to finesse, these are some of the stories that you can sort of just see.
They just kind of
just happen. I want to think I'm a good finesser, but like honestly, like I don't have shit like that. So maybe I'm just like a low tier.
It's like part charisma, part sociopathy, and part like not taking yourself too seriously.
I got that advice today from another speaker that I saw.
Yeah.
She was like, and it was don't take things too seriously or too personally, because like she's like, someone cancels lunch on me and I'm like, oh thank God, now I have an hour and a half not to fucking talk to someone. And then someone else gets canceled on and they're like, oh, this person doesn't respect my time. And it's like, no, like it's probably not that. And then she said, and if that is the case, who the fuck cares? And I was like, this woman was amazing. So now, fast forward all those crazy stories.
Yeah.
You're in fashion
I'm
here.
in fashion. Back
You've
to
done
the point.
fashion in New York, Paris, LA,
Italy.
Most
recently.
You've been to fashion weeks.
Yeah.
Multiple.
I just did my first stint in Paris, which was fun. So it's weird, like, doing fashion and also going to a school like Stanford.
Yeah.
In a sense,
for our viewers, 'cause I think you and me know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
When you say do fashion, can you like give us some?
I'm not a designer. I don't do anything that. My thing is I'm an editor right now, right? So I do kind of more like editing content around fashion, and that's kind of been my primary expertise. We'll say. I do myself like to style, and I've styled a couple small shows. And right now it's really kind of, I do a lot of consulting for fashion companies. So I went to my first fashion week in Paris this past winter. It's super fucking cool. Like, you meet like people from all over the world. So like obviously like you meet Parisians, but you meet like people from like I don't know, China, like the States again. I met a whole bunch of kids from Dublin. And this might be fucked up. I didn't know there were black people in Ireland. I know that's fucked up.
Is that fucked up? I don't think that's fucked up.
I don't know. Okay, I know like
I've heard you say way more fucked up things than that. So I was just like, oh shit, what is she gonna say?
I meet all these like kids with these crazy Irish accents, and they're all like black, and I'm like, yo, that's I don't know. I mean,
it is one of the countries I would have. If someone was like rank the list of countries that you think black people are in, it would be pretty low.
It would be really low.
But so like, and maybe I hope no one asked me that. But if they did, it'd probably be pretty low.
Maybe we should keep that one out of the fishbowl.
That's just our whole.
But anyway, they were dope.
Yeah,
they were super dope kids. So I ended up like rolling through fashion week with them because I went solo, right? So I've been doing this like lone traveling thing too. But I went mixed with them and it was super cool. We went to a whole bunch of parties and you meet like really young designers who are super talented and like doing their own thing. I went to a party where like Naomi Campbell was there and I saw her and literally wanted to like keel over and die. Do you know her legs are insured for like multi-millions of dollars?
That's my goal.
But yeah, so it was super fun, and so I basically do a lot of business stuff. But I think in the future, in terms of fashion, I like fashion. But what I like to say is, I personally think of fashion as an aesthetic entry point into like much bigger conversations around identity and politics, and so that's how I kind of use fashion here at Stanford and within my other work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we only have a couple of minutes left, but like in that conversation, what are, because that's not something I hear people talking about often. Yeah. So like if you had like a elevator pitch or like whatever they call it, like 30 seconds about your opinion on that, like what would that be?
Fashion is a really, really interesting industry because in many senses it's about what's seen and what's not, right? Like there is so much work that goes into a fashion show for people to walk for 15 minutes, right? And the thought of just like we dress ourselves every day in a way that represents, maybe how we feel about ourselves or how we don't feel about ourselves. And, it really shows like who you are. And I also think like the way we design clothes, the way we wear clothes, you look at clothes that are like, much more Western associated and you look at clothes from different parts of the world and it shows like, what do we value in terms of like how we present our body and, what makes us feel good. And so I think that's really important. But I would like to also just start conversations around like identity. So like, for example, like looking at how hijabs have been becoming more and more incorporated into, large fashion spreads. Yeah. Like Vogue has had some significant covers. And it's really, really interesting because, obviously like within the female representation in the media, like there are many different conceptions in, how women should present themselves. Yeah. And I think it's really interesting that fashion becomes more and more democratic in terms of who it shows and how it shows it.
And fashion and like entertainment and media in general.
Yeah.
I feel like you can't get away with an all-white writer's room anymore.
Not anymore. Oscar's so white.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
no, not again.
You can't do that. And like for years, no one saw 17 men in a writing room writing a show with very like what's the word I'm looking for? Like not like stereotypical, but like caricatures of like women, and like no one saw that as a problem.
Yeah.
And then people are like, wait, women are like, we're not like this.
Not
like,
at all.
Like, you know, and it was just like,
exactly.
I feel
Very
like
dynamic.
the arts especially, and like honestly everything else, but like right now it's like we're looking for that diversity.
Yeah.
And like.
Yeah. I mean, it's
help us, and it's been there.
Yeah.
Like they don't have to look very far because we're fucking right here.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
it's like we are now open to diversity in a way that we weren't before.
Exactly.
And in no way are we like anywhere close to where it needs to be.
And
but
I think that, you know,
I'm excited for it.
Diversity being the wave has, you know, many benefits and many issues on its own.
Yeah.
But I think overall it's an amazing opportunity for, there's just, you know, new faces in fashion. I mean, the biggest thing about when I went to Paris Fashion Week was I went to the Men's Week, and I wrote a really interesting article after that was all about just the way in which fashion has evolved within a very short span of time because of tech and all these new influences and voices being heard. And I mean, you look at Virgil Abloh, who's now like the first African-American art director for Louis Vuitton, like insane, you know? And then what he's done, who he's brought into that circle, like he's brought his people up, and that's what really like matters is that like, you get a foothold into an industry like that as a person of color, and you bring up the people around you. Yeah. You know, and that's how things start changing. So,
amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hey, that was our first episode. Maybe I don't know. We don't know what order we're gonna do these in, but hopefully
we'll figure it out.
This was awesome. I had a great time. Did you have a good time?
I loved it.
Was it fun?
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun out here.
Let's do it.
Do you guys have fun? They all just went.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like I'm controlling. Do you guys have fun? And they're all like, yes.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Tune in next time to see what the fuck we're gonna do. Probably something similar with a new person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have a great day or night or poop. A lot of people watch things on the toilet, me included.
Yeah.
Neil also. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you out. Yeah, he does. Okay, bye.